We've currently got a special offer live now on poodlecfb.com for the launch of College Football 26. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. You'll unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Join hundreds of members in the fastest-growing CFB 26 community out there. Don't miss out and sign up now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video, and today's video, I'm going over the 10 mistakes you need to stop making in Dynasty mode. And if you haven't already, check out poodlecfb.com. Come join the fastest growing CFB community out there. You gain access to data guides, ebooks, spreadsheets, data studies, our data lab, and you get insider information on why we pick certain packages, why we go certain archetypes, why we do certain things at certain weeks, why we don't put visits at this week. You get access to all that, and you could also help sculpt the discussion. So come join. We're at almost 1,000 members, so come join one of the fastest growing CFB communities. If you use code KICKOFF, all caps, you get $50 off the annual plan, and if you use code KICKOFF 2025, all caps, you get $5 off the monthly plan. Remember, this is a recurring discount, so you are grandfathered in for the lifetime of your deal. So come take advantage, come join early on before you pick your dynasties, and dominate. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing, and while this may be kind of self-explanatory, is coming over to your settings and checking what your manual progression penalty is. This is very important, guys. Now, a lot of leagues, due to some of the glitches, may be going all the way up to 100 on this, so that's also important. If a league has this on 100, you absolutely have to come down. And this for all you guys, like some people just join leagues or join a new league and don't get told all the information. If your league has that on 100, you absolutely have to turn auto progress players to on. So what happens is, if you have that penalty on 100, that means that automatically you're getting 100% penalized for all XP gained when on manual. So if you gain 100 XP and you have that on 100, you gain 0. So you can go through a whole season or two with your auto progress off and this on 100 and gain absolutely 0 XP. So if you join a random league by looking at the public search forum or online and someone just didn't tell you about it, you have to manually do it. So basically what that is informally or formally, like the league has it turned off, but it's like an informal thing, like an unspoken, that you have to then go turn your auto progression back on, because if you don't do that or you're not around for that announcement, you're going to miss that, and vice versa. Some people may be doing it somewhere in the middle. So if your league is below, I've been saying like 35%, I'd stick with manual progression. It's super glitchy because yes, you're losing 35% of your XP, but honestly in this game, recruits spend like 50 to 70% of their points on nonsense that you don't want anyway. So I'll take the 30% reduction to get what I want. Now if that's like above a 50, at that point, I'm kind of like iffy about it, because now your players just aren't going to grow much. Because yeah, you still do need the awareness and the IQ and the health things for your overall to go up. So for me, if it's like above a 35 and it goes into like that 50, 60, 70 range, I'm just turning it off entirely and going right to annual auto. So make sure you do that. Just make sure you're checking that out. That's definitely a really big one. And the next one, which goes off that pre-order bonus you said, is plan your coach based on that pre-order bonus. So they can turn that on or off. So again, find out what your league's doing, and so I guess you'll see it if you get it. In all my coach builds, I made a small school build and I made a large school build, or a general universal build. Both those builds have to have caveats for, if you do get those 100 points, do this. If you don't, you can do this. So keep that in mind. 100 points is a lot. For me, 100 points is almost like my spending money if I ever unlock CEO. So if you think that you're good enough to unlock CEO in your league, or it's an offline league, and you get those 100 points, save that for your CEO package. If you don't get 100 points and you still want CEO, now you have to factor that into the build, because it's hard to get the ideal build and CEO without those 100 points. So with that being said, just understand what your league does with that 100 points and know, because that plays a big role. If you're not following any YouTube builds and you're doing your own thing, still sit here and calculate like, okay, this is going to cost me 850 points altogether, and CEO is going to cost me 980. That leaves me with some extra points anyways. I'm safe. Or the build I want is going to be 1,080. And it's like, or 1,080, and you're going to need that 100 points, and if you don't have it, now you got to drop some things off your build. But if you already went and bought them, you may end up at CEO and not be able to buy things. So plan your build out and be very careful about those 100 points. Next thing about coaching builds, which is number 4 in this list, is going to be understanding your league before you build your coach build. And there's a few things you want to know here. So again, I love CEO this year. It's a great package, but you have to know your league. If you're in a 32-person league and you're middle of the pack, like 15, in user skill, and you haven't won a national championship or a Madden Super Bowl since 2016 back in your glory days, don't build your coach saving points thinking, I'm going to get CEO this year. It's probably not going to happen. If you are a guy that always wins natties and championships, don't fully max out your coach early before you win them and go, wow, I could have gotten CEO. That's the first thing. Second one is understanding how your league plays in terms of recruiting. If your league can't recruit for at all, and you know they're all trash at recruiting, they just kind of play the game for fun, older guys don't really care, maybe you don't have to go all in on recruiting. Maybe you go all in on talent developer. Or maybe 32 users all going on recruiting. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go the other route and just build up my players, so I know they're not doing that. there's so many different ways that your coach can be built based on knowing your league and how to plan your coach. And you have to just kind of like really think about how you want to go about doing this when building things. And remember, like even some of these packages, 2 players drafted in the first round. Are you guys going 1-star schools? How long will that take you? Are you going 1-star schools? Will you ever win a national championship? Are you good enough to win with a bad roster? And if you're going small schools, how long will it take you to unlock this? 4 bowl games or unlock elite recruiter? So understand that if you're in a 1-star league, don't bank on your build having elite recruiter. If you're in a league that only goes 10 seasons, that's another thing. Every league has their thing. So my old league used to go about 12, 13 seasons. We play about a season a month or a little bit quicker than that, depending. So for me, elite recruiter was a safe bet because I knew I'd get it over that time. But if I've heard people comment like, hey, I'm in a league, we only do 5 seasons and we start as a 1-star. Yeah, forget about elite recruiter. You're not gonna get that. So you can then plan your build accordingly. So understand your league, and most importantly, just know yourself and know what you're capable of as a user before going ahead and doing certain things like this. And that also leads to this, like you're going to plan your build out and you're going to go to motivator or go to, let's say, talent developer or even one of these positions, like, and you're going to put it on quarterback. And let's say you're a guy that runs 45 times a game and you never throw the ball. You never throw the ball one time. Maybe you can cut back on quarterback stuff like scouting quarterbacks and stuff because you're not looking for an elite quarterback. You're not going to use them. Or if you're a guy that never runs the ball, you don't spend upgrades on running and tactician. You don't spend on upgrades for upgrading your running back or scouting a good running back. So just know yourself, know your league when doing things. Next one's going to be planning out your manual progression. This is so important, guys. It's not easy to get skill points in this game. It takes time. And you have to also understand that there's a cap to these things. Like you may have a guy, and again, I'm going to go back to Durham in a second, but let's go to a guy that's near the end here. Like Garrett. Garrett's this is a senior year. His next upgrade that I get this year is likely his last. So let's say I'm trying to make a natty run this year. What could I upgrade that would make this work? Is it accuracy? Do I want to get that deep throw up to an 88? Is it trying to get power for one more deep throw to help, or throw power to get it up? Is it IQ? Is it just to get his overall up? There's a lot of things here. So for me, I don't think any single one attribute is going to help my natty run, but maybe I can upgrade IQ twice because it's only 5 points or 3 times compared to power. And by upgrading his IQ to 91, I actually can get him up to a 94 overall. And now he's drafted in the first round. I get bonus points from tier 1 talent developer, or I get an unlock requirement for talent developer. So you want to be planning this out very strategically when doing this. So like his physicals, an ability likely is the best thing you could upgrade with 1 season left on the line, but he doesn't have any to get, and it would require another upgrade. And clearly I'm not going to get those. So his ability is basically capped. So the best thing for him really is going to probably be either health, you want to keep him healthy for the final run, or IQ to get him drafted. Now, would you ever have thought to do that? Probably not. You're probably thinking, I'm going to get that extra throw power. 1 throw power, 1 speed is not doing much on him at this point. Now, let's go to a guy like Harlem Berry. He's a freshman. He's got hopefully 4 years. Maybe he'll probably get drafted early, but he has 4 years. But remember, there's still a limit. You're only going to get so many points. And remember, after this first big year with a big offseason, you're probably going to get him up to like an 86, 87 overall. You're nearing that draft range already. So you have to understand that, okay, don't plan it to be like, I'm going to get Platinum Shifty by year 3. You may never get a year 3 with him between this and that. So what I'm doing with Harlem Berry is, okay, he's an elusive back. He's very fast. I likely want to do my quickest route to get quickness, elusiveness up, and Shifty maxed out. That's what I'm going for. And likely some armbar in there if I could, but 52 armbar, it's unlikely that he ever gets to that point. But what I'm doing is, okay, 15 points, that costs 8. So I'd rather change a direction, get a little bit higher. So I come back. Shifty is a 89 for gold. So I could probably get a platinum already without upgrading anything. So what I'm probably doing is here is I'm going to go speed run Shifty first, and then I'll probably go to a speed and elusiveness last. Because I'm of the world where 93 change of direction feels a lot better than 99 if it has Shifty. So for me, I'm upgrading his speed. And remember, there's a lot of points. 15 could take me a whole season to get. So 15, and then the offseason could do enough to get me Shifty. Or this. Let's say you need Shifty to play with your running back. He feels 2 in the mud. Don't spend your first 15 you get like, oh yes, I got my first 15, I'm upgrading my speed. Save it to the offseason and put it all together and see how you could do it. Because that's another thing. You could spend 15. Let's say you have 17 points and you spend 15 here. That's your upgrade. You have 2 points left. You don't have enough for Shifty or anything. So what I would maybe do is wait till the offseason, get the 15 in season or 16 in season, get the 20 in the offseason. Now you have 36 total, and now you can get a little crazy. But okay, 30 divided by, if I do 6 and 5 and 4, okay, that's 15. That leaves me with 15 points. So I could do 3 Shifties and 1 speed, or I could do 4 Shifties and no speed. And then you got to start to like do that math out. So definitely be doing that with a lot of players in your roster. And again, you might have a guy who's a junior. So instead of a senior or a freshman, a junior who's like, okay, he has 1 good offseason left. What can I do to maximize him? He needs that throw ability. He needs that Shifty ability. He needs quick jump. He needs quick drop, and so on and so forth. The next one's going to be not getting players drafted. Again, I showed you guys talent developer tier 1 is a great ability. It used to be motivator tier 1. that's going to be getting you draft bonuses, as well as, remember, you also have the pro potential this year, which is more dynamic, and every 4 years, like it's reevaluated in 4-year intervals for your pro potential. So if you're not getting players drafted, your pro potential will drop, which means your deal breakers will drop, which means you will lose players to the portal, which is very aggressive this year, which also means you won't be getting XP. There's so much that factors into this. You lose your roster, you lose deal breakers, you don't get XP. You got to be very, very careful about getting players drafted this year. So for me, like I said, there's instances like this where Durham's at 89. But let's just say Durham was a junior, or let's say he was a senior. Let's say Durham was a senior at an 89, and Harlem Berry's a freshman. Harlem Berry has more potential. That's clear as day. I mean, you look at both of them; they're about the same height. He's much lighter, but the speed's about the same. The excel's about the same, but he's a much lower overall. So all it would take, better change of direction, and he already comes with shifting a bunch of abilities compared to what he has. He has silver shifty, silver sidestep, silver armbar. So for me, Berry's a better player potential-wise. So do I just go and start Berry? No, you redshirt him, and you have an electric senior season with Durham, and you get him up to a 91, 92 overall. That way, he can be drafted in a first or second round aspect. You get your pro potential up, and you get XP for Berry. And this happens a lot with quarterbacks. I might have told the story already, but I had a quarterback last year who was an 89 overall going to a senior year, and I had a freshman elite uncapped quarterback. His name was Joey Coker. He was an 82 overall off rip. He was so elite. And my other guy was an 89 almost capped out player. So I wanted to start the freshman because I was like, let me start getting him some reps and building him up. But then I said to myself, wait, this guy's like an inch away from being drafted. He was like an 89 or a 90. If I just have a really good year and have a deep playoff run, I could probably get him to a 92, get him drafted, get the motivator or the talent developer tier 1 bonus, and get my freshman Joey Coker a big boost. So what did I do? I played the whole season with the other guy. I redshirted the 5-star, and he came back as a redshirt freshman with a huge boost of XP, plus I got extra bonuses for getting him drafted, and I get my pro potential of sending players to the draft. And this year, with it being every 4 years, you want to be making sure you're constantly doing that, and that's just very important as a whole. The next one, especially early on, is scheduling visits outside of your proximity bonus. If you look at the players that I have on my board right now, in the early seasons, this is how I set up my board. Local, we're looking at Texas, Georgia, Texas, Missouri, I want to say, Missouri, California, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a bit far, but I have a chance at him, but I won't put a visit on him. And that's going to be the key here. So you want to be putting your visits on mostly local proximity type recruits, especially in the early seasons when you're just trying to get elite recruiter unlocked, or you're just trying to get a top class and trying to get some guys in. So for me, I'm only going to be putting visits on guys like this guy in Texas, guy in Georgia, this guy in Texas, because these guys are going to have 10-point visits, maybe 15-point visits, while a guy in California or a guy in New York, for me, with this school, likely has a 25, 30, 45, or 30, 35, 40 point visits, and they're just too expensive. It's simple math. I could put 10 visits for 80 points, or I could put 10 visits for 4 times more, which is 400 points. So in any given week where the max is 4, it's a difference of 40 points or 160 points. 160 points would like nuke 1/8 of your entire class, or maybe even more of that, while the 40-point visits just kills one player off your board. So make sure you're doing mostly local visits, especially early on, so you have elite recruiter and you can kind of dominate everywhere else. Because not only is it a waste, it's like 40 points is a waste, there's a good chance that those people are putting 10-point visits on and they're in pipeline, and we're likely going to destroy them. Next is going to be always focus on widening your recruit pool. We found out a lot about this late last year in CAP 25, but really the biggest benefit, the easiest way to recruit is by widening your recruit pool. So when I started as LSU, this is what I see. I just see first across the board all day and second. This means that I get to pick and choose which are the easiest ones for me to win and cross-reference that with some skill and things I need. But I could basically get a great class because I have so many choices. I'm not limited to a few guys. When you start with a smaller school or a school with a less wide pool, you're at a situation where you have like one guy in first, 2 guys in second, and then a bunch of 4, 5, 6s, and you're losing all those guys. So you're guaranteed like 3 recruits, and the rest are all a struggle. That's why you don't get well-rounded top 5 classes. So to increase your pool, I know you're saying it's because of LSU, but there's a way to do this just generally. So the reason that these recruits are so interested is because of the pipelines. LSU has so many that are in the 5, 4, and 3. So obviously this comes down to the areas that you do have your pipeline in and how many recruits are generated from there. So obviously pick a school that allows you to widen your pool, like a school like Louisiana, a school in Louisiana that has all these recruits locally. So some areas, like you go to like the New York, Maine, Syracuse type areas, like, yeah, you're not getting a lot of recruits, but there are abilities to widen your pool and make this a lot easier. So what you're going to want to be doing is on really any program, especially smaller schools, is maxing out Relationship Builder and Strong Roots. Relationship Builder will upgrade all your pipelines, which does actually give you more starting interest on players. And then what Strong Roots does, it actually gives you boosts to your pipelines to get better starting interest. And when we maximize this on poodlecfp.com, we did a bunch of data studies. When we maximize Strong Roots and Relationship Builder, plus picking the right pipeline for your school, we saw a ginormous increase in starting interest to where you could basically pick and choose, and you can start cherry picking the best players. And when you're in first, you scare a lot of people away. It's like a scarecrow thing. So you also scare people away when you have a good lead and you're in first versus them being in first. And you have to fight your way out of it. And you can rug pull a lot earlier, but definitely widen your pool. And the other package to widen your pool is going to be getting to tier 3 and lower the bar. Again, much better for small schools, but definitely great for big schools. This lowers the deal breaker threshold. A lot of times you're not on recruits because you're either not in their top 8 or you're locked out. Lower the bar actually gives you a much wider pool of players because you'll basically, especially with a big school, you won't be locked out of anyone because big schools are rarely locked out. Only by proximity and like very few things, like you just miss it by like an inch. So this will get you in on basically every recruit. And in the transfer portal, it stops you from being locked out from a lot of guys. So definitely really cool. Now we're heading back to the settings. Understanding your league settings are so important. So let's go beyond the settings we went from before. Something as simple as your coach XP setting. If your league plays on slowest, don't build a custom coach. Use a current coach. Pick Kirby Smart. Pick Brian Kelly. Pick a Saban type coach, like all top tier level coaches. Pick Sweeney. I'm telling you, slowest is it's horrible. Even on fastest, it takes a while. So understand that. Like if for me, honestly, if you're normal or below, I'm taking a current coach. Faster or fastest, I'm doing my custom coach. So just know that when doing that and when looking at these things, what you're actually dealing with on a league perspective. Commissioner only, player to permission, none of that stuff really matters. Understanding if injuries are on or off. Understand if injuries are on or off, and then also understand what your wear and tear settings on. So if wear and tear is turned off, this changes a lot because you can manually buy upgrades this year. So if wear and tear was turned off, I was talking about in an ability video how I loved some of the, like I think it was workhorse and a few other abilities where it actually increases wear and tear on your opponent and it also reduces wear and tear on you. It's a great ability because if you spend the first half just power run scheme, ISO, halfback dive, and you tire out the defense in the second half, you can come out roaring. Your players won't be that tired because the guy you did it with has a wear and tear ability and their team will be super hurt. That's a great strategy to wear a team down, and in the second half they'll be slow, they won't be tackling well, they'll be missing things. But if wear and tear is turned off, don't waste so much money on wear and tear abilities. Things like if fatigue's turned off, don't waste points on things like recoup. And these are a lot of things that really matter. Look at your transfers. I just told you guys about widening your recruit pool and utilizing the deal breaker method. While that's great, part of having that deal breaker ability is great because you won't have so many transfers. That's really the reason I like it for that reason, plus your pool. But if max transfers per team is set to 0, or this is set super low to disable a lot of transferring in a league like that, I probably don't go all in on strategists and try to stop people from going to the transfer portal because I don't have to. Now we're winding down here, guys. One of the last ones is going to be player development is key this year. We did a lot of testing on poodlecfp.com, and last year auto, we had to do it very strategically to make sure our players got really good. This year, it's less about archetypes and it's more about manual progression. If manual progression is turned on, player development is just key. You can get your player to 99 overall so much quicker because instead of upgrading dumb stuff like it did last year that you didn't want, like IQ or health and certain things in certain areas you need, or like an obscure thing that didn't help your build at all, like my elusive back Durham upgrading hands over and over and over again until it got to like 90 overall, then went back to speed, it's hurting their overall development. So player development is key this year. So having a good grasp on manual development, and also now really most important, setting your packages up. And that's why I'm so big on you always need motivator tier 3 across the board. You can always go be a little unorthodox and go tier 3, but really it's tier 3 on regular motivator, not master. And that's why I'm so big on trying to get talent developer maxed out this year. All of these packages will go such a long way in boost the pipeline bonus in tier 4, that increases your pool from earlier, but tier 1 through 3 are going to play a huge role in getting your players developed. The quicker you can get XP, the more fun you could have with manual, and the quicker you could build absolute demons on this game. Manual progression player development is key this year. Honestly, with the way they did recruiting, but putting some of the best packages in CEO, making elite recruiter just harder to obtain, and some of the current issues with motivator tier 1, I'm all in on player development right now, and I think you need to be getting talent developer basically almost maxed out, or at least a tier 3, and just being so focused on building, because we've had some tests over there on poodlecfp.com where we've got normal players, normal dev players to the NFL, impact players to the NFL very consistently, because if you manually develop the right way and do the right upgrades, you can get them up to the overall to be drafted, which is something last year you didn't see very often. Last but not least, guys, your active perk. Look under Poodle YT Motivator Coach, active perk. That's going to play a huge role in how quickly you upgrade your coach. People are saying like, hey, we're simming, we're not upgrading quickly. Know what your active perk is. So your active perk is based on where you currently have the most packages bought into. So right now I only have Motivator, so my active perk is Motivator. What do you get for that? You get 7 bonus XP whenever a player levels up. So if you have a player that goes from an 81 to an 82, you get 7 bonus XP. So in the offseason, when you upgrade a guy, if you upgrade them the right way and you manually progress them to upgrade the most, and they go up 4, 5 overalls, you get 4 times 7, which is 28, or 5 times 7, which is 35. Pretty big. But if you get into somewhere like CEO, you get 12,500 XP for playoff wins. So if you can, first, if you pick a coach that starts with CEO and that's your active perk, if you just go to the national championship, you're looking at 50 to 60,000 XP, like right off rip, which is just absolutely crazy. Or, well, and win the national championship. But if you can unlock that early and you speed run it in the first 2 years, you can just go ahead and just keep that on as your active perk and just utilize that. Every playoff win will be a crazy upgrade for you. Program Builder, 75 bonus XP when a school grade or prestige increases. This one's not as great unless you keep like boosting to drop it and bringing it back up, but like that one's gonna be a little tougher. Talent Developer, 3,000 bonus XP when a player is drafted. Again, back to getting players drafted. You have that on. Focus on that. You get 6, and this is gonna be a 7th rounder. You get 10 players drafted a year, even if they're 3rd and 7th rounders, and you're looking at 30,000 XP. That's crazy. 100 bonus XP for signing a recruit, and also you can maybe take advantage of these. You could let Motivator stay on, or you can you can go to Recruiter, get Recruiter as your active perk. National Signing Day happens, you get that big boost for all your recruits, and maybe bring in 35-person classes to get all 3,500 points. And then after that week, you take some of those points and rebuy back into Motivator and get that as your active perk, so that when you get to the trading phase, you can then get the boost there. Or it's manual, so you can just do it when you want. It really depends on what your league setting is. Architect has 400 bonus points when a player maxes a skill group, which could also be a very good XP method. That could be a video right there, actually. 400 bonus XP when a player maxes a skill group. You position change some guys, you break some caps. I'll make a video on that later, but again, hope you guys understand what I'm going for here. You need to be focusing on these active perks to make sure you do it. Tactician is a great one, 450 bonus points for each win. You have an undefeated season, or you're one of the best guys in your league, you win 10 games a year, that's 4,500, you go to the playoffs. There's a lot to be had here if you do get into these packages. So hope you guys understand, guys, about the video. Hope you enjoyed. Sub if you're new, drop a like. And of course, check out poodlecfp.com for a lot of these things we go through, our data tests, our formulas, our calculators, our spreadsheets, all of our discussions, DMing me, adding me directly over there in the Discord. Great place to be, guys. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.